art includes a different range of styles, from graffiti to stencils to stickers to wheat painting to posters. What was once known as a subculture and seen as vandalism is now super trendy and mainstream.
With the internet, street art has had more exposure, even becoming viral, not only due to the style, but also because people agree with the social messages and activism of street artists.
Hugh Lehman is one of them.
Right now, I've definitely noticed more and more artists wanting to engage, with what's going on in the world, whether it's politically, socially, and people want to be active. I think they want to have their own voice and they want to help these other people have a voice. There's something to be said about people like Banksy and Swoon and Hugh Lehman, who their work is really doing something new and it's meaningful and it can actually, I think, affect society in a positive way.
My name is Hugh Lehman. I'm a San Francisco-based street artist.
What he looks like, you can't find images of him, online. So I was curious who this Hugh Lehman would be.
After high school, I started traveling and spent the next 3 years living out of my backpack. I came to San Francisco. I thought I would stay here for 6 months, and 6 years later, here I am in the same studio, painting the people that live around me, people that I meet.
Seeing his work and everything, I think there was definitely a parallel that I saw through the work that I was doing. He was working in this medium of painting. I'm working in photography and video. I had started a project called the Tenderloin Project. The aim of the Tenderloin Project was to create a body of work that would somehow represent the art of living in the Tenderloin. Living on the streets, that's not just about people smoking crack.
There's just a truth to these people, to the people that live on the street, and there was something that interested me. All over the world, there's the overlooked and the oft-forgotten people. I think I was curious of their story. The motivation for me is not because I think it's cool, it's not because I think it's beautiful, it's because I'm interested in influencing and hopefully inspiring others to be a part of people's lives who I feel have been overlooked and to, like I say, advertise for them.
The Tenderloin Project was always driven by the idea that how can I as a photographer create a body of work whereby I can give voice to the people that I'm depicting on the street who often don't have a voice. In doing so, how can these citizens of this community give back to their community? And all proceeds that came from t-shirt sales that I did, from the art shows that I did, and through selling prints through the website, all that money goes back to the Tenderloin community. The people that ended up consuming the shirts and supporting the project were people that did want to help the Tenderloin, wanted to help these people. And by buying these shirts, it gave them a direct way to now help these people.
For me, if you're going to be doing something on the street, it makes sense to have it be relevant to why you're putting it on the street. So you have someone who has a car and they're driving their car, and on the billboard we'll say is a Coca-Cola advertisement. And that guy drives past that billboard every day on his way to work and he sees it from that perspective. Meanwhile, underneath the freeway, there's a guy who sleeps underneath the freeway and he sees that same Coca-Cola billboard every single day. And if you can take away the Coca-Cola on the billboard and put in front on that billboard something that has to do with the actual society, I think then you have the opportunity to do something positive, not just for the person that's living on the street, but something positive for the person who's not living on the street. And I see what I do on the streets is a public ad campaign that advertises, of course, for the work in and of itself, as all street art does, but what makes it an ad campaign is it directly commodified with the not-for-profit I've set up. So you see lots of my work on the streets, and they have QR codes on them that the passerby can scan with their smartphone, and it opens up a website where they can purchase a t-shirt that directly benefits the very person who's on the poster that you see in front of you when you're walking down the street. I'll print these guys' portraits on t-shirts, and they take their t-shirts and they keep 100% of the profit. There's been a number of different people that sell the t-shirts. Bernard and Blue, who's a street musician, Indian Joe, and Larry. Larry plays buckets as drums on Market Street. And it's pretty cool because he sees lots of tourists and meets people from all over the world who end up buying t-shirts from him. And I think that the truth is that the success in it is not in that it generates 10 or 20 bucks a week for Bernard or for Blue or for Larry, but that it gives them an opportunity to have a business platform to stand on. And in turn, it gives me the opportunity to do something. And I think in these tiny, small drops of water we add to the ocean, it's a contribution to not just our friendship, but potentially to society as a whole. Sent some t-shirts to London a few days ago, and someone in London now is wearing a shirt of a guy that I'm friends with that lives down in the alley. Maybe this person walking on the street wearing that t-shirt and ask, hey, where did you get this t-shirt? What is this about? And some other stranger who happens to be a tourist visiting London from who knows, Budapest, and now they know about this. And it's exciting to think like how small of an idea it starts with, and it becomes something where it's beautiful and it advertises for itself and people talk about it. And I really like that.
I wanted to find that balance between art and commerce, whereby I could do my art project with the Penguin project, but I could also have a similar effect kind of commercially in making ends meet for myself and hopefully building a portfolio whereby I could continue to grow as a commercial director and photographer.
These days, street artists find many ways to make a living through their art, through shows in museums and galleries, commissioned work, and even through fashion.
My work is, it ends up, showing like lots of artists in commercial galleries.
What I have found to be a way for me to do my artwork and to get paid for it as well is to work with students and community members to basically beautify their communities and their neighborhoods. Okay, I'm going to show you some spots. Most recently, I did a big project in the Excelsior district on Mission Street that involved over 200 people from the community. There's a considerable amount of funding that goes from city, state budgets, and school budgets that they allocate to those kind of projects. And talking about commissioned artwork, what happens is they approach you. I'm, early in my career, but I do have some mural work out there or some design work or some word of mouth from somebody who's worked with me. In 2006 and 2007, I went to Argentina, and a lot of people were wearing these shoes down there called alpargatas. Bought a bunch of those, painted all of them, and then I went out on the street and I sold them, made them for friends and stuff like that.
Upper Playground, it's a street brand. A lot of everything is based with different contemporary art. I think it's a good way for them to, it's just a different canvas for them really. They're able to not just paint on, a certain piece, but they could actually just have it seen by a lot of other people if they're not just going to the galleries themselves or if they're not looking them up online. It's just a different medium for their art to be expressed on. We sell t-shirts, hoodies, outerwear, accessories, videos.
We have like outerwear, we have fleece, includes like pullovers, zip-ups, and crew necks. We have button-ups, cut and sew pieces. We have tons of t-shirts, fitted hats, snapbacks, cuffs, 2-finger rings, neckties, handkerchiefs. We always have different artists in the store. I think Josh, we've had his photos here for about 3 months, and now we're going to have a different collection of photographers come in about a week or so.
Some of the main artists that we have sub-brands with or sub-lines with is Sam Flores, Jeremy Fish, Esteban Oriol, he's a photographer. You get paid for the design, and that licenses us to use it for whatever various types of products that we agree to. A lot of them do come from, they have grassroots. That was, in essence, a rebellion type thing. But a lot of them are just, some fine artists now, or people that came from the street art scene that are in the fine galleries now. So it'll continue to go because the artists continue to flourish, new artists continue to come in. Whatever the trend is, that's what'll differ, but there's always going to be some shirts based from the art from street artists, always.
Now you know that there are plenty of opportunities to sell street artwork. You probably have plenty of creative ideas, and you'll want to share your voice about the people in need around you.
Hi, I'm Fabricio, and here are some tips for beginners in street art.
The first part is definitely getting inspired in terms of, what do you want to paint, what do you want to put out and communicate to people.
I believe that everybody has creative energy and you just have to find it.
What inspired me most to be an artist? Walking around the street every day and seeing the art that I was on the street.
Well, it's here in San Francisco, there's real traditional murals in the Mission, kind of with the more Hispanic influence, and that stuff is really beautiful. It looks more like classical painting. Then there's also the, the West Coast graffiti scene style, which is just really more traditional graffiti like New York, but it's just got its own little lettering style, which is unique to San Francisco and the West Coast.
Everything's in your brain. Now it's time to get your art done.
To get ideas, like for example what I'm going to do on this wall, I actually use it more for pre-production if I'm going to do a mural. I'm manipulating it in Photoshop, I'm using some of the paint artistic filters, and then I'm kind of changing the contrast. And also to maybe block stuff out, I can use the computer to make it more abstract, so when I bring it to the wall, I have a nice abstract notion about the shadows and the stuff where before I would block it out. So sometimes this saves me time.
cans that we sell here are really user-friendly. They're really easy to use.
My favorite is the Montana 94. It's low pressure, matte paint, so when you want to take pictures, you don't get that real big glare. And it's easy to control, change the cap, easy to fill. Most popular markers are these Sakura solid markers. Pretty much it's like your lipstick for walls. Solid, dry solid, permanent. Good to go anywhere.
I want to use something that I can easily paint over. I like this cheap laundry marker because it's something that acrylic paint just goes over really easily. So it's not uncommon that to use some stencils in your artwork when you're doing murals, especially because you're working against time sometimes, so you prefabricate your design ahead of time and things like that. Why would I use the spray or why would I use acrylic? For the base layer, you want to use a good primer, but sometimes when you're painting a mural, the advantage of spray is that it dries super fast, and that's great. So you can keep adding layers and layers on top.
Just get some cans, buff out the board, and practice. Just draw lines. Try to draw the same line over and over. Draw a circle, and draw it over and over. It's just like any other medium. You just got to be able to practice. But really, all you need is somewhere safe to paint and some spray paint, and that's it.
People need to know who you are, so get your own tag to sign your artwork.
Tagging is like your signature or your autograph.
I love tagging. I love to see it. And it evolves. It's just like, it's a growth. It'll start with tags, and then after the tags stay there for long enough, it'll turn into street art, and then it turns into this, beautiful sculpture.
However, don't tag without reason or go around spray painting nonsense.
All right then, it's time for the most important thing, the wall. But where can we find it?
Every building belongs to someone.
So I like this political piece because to be a mural, because that's a context of the street and of a mural, to have some kind of political message.
There are organizations that can help you contact the owner and find the wall for your artwork.
Well, you make a proposal, and if they like it, and if there are any wall available, not only this one, they will let you to do it.
What happens is the city fines people for if they have tags on their buildings. So they get tired of getting fined, and they're like, we don't want to pay any money for ticketing, we just want to have some good art up there.
Who wouldn't want a cool wall?
But not many artists are lucky enough to find the wall, so they choose to express themselves against the law.
Graffiti is forbidden on public transportation and public places. Still, wet paint signs are all around the city. And that makes the reputation of street art more notorious.
You should never vandalize, never without permission. Yeah.
Well, inBox tonight was all about how to be a street artist. I'll give you guys some time to find your inspiration and the tools. Have a good night. Where's my spray? Oh, thank you, thank you. Now I can.